They say there's no good news.
There's no good news.
Before we get started, let me go ahead and get the disclaimer out there that thoughts, opinions, and comments made in this show are not those of me, Shay, and I, which is me, or No Good Writer, which is also me. I just say and do as I'm told. All content in this show has been created and approved by my co-host, the executive producer of this show, and the real brains behind the whole operation. She goes by the K9, who prefers to remain anonymous. And here she is.
I am your pitbull.
Now, with that in mind, let's get to it. It's time to talk money matters. And we're going to start with a little chat about change. For those of you who didn't get the memo, let me deliver the message personally. It is okay to switch things up. Sometimes you have to, you need to switch up what it is you're doing to make money. A lot of content creators have been hit hard since the coronavirus struck, but some of them continue to suffer more than they have to. And it's because they refuse to change. Let me give you an example. So there was this chick in one of the Facebook groups that I'm in. She was asking for advice, saying that freelance writing doesn't seem to be working for her anymore. So she had selected her niche. It was something related to like sustainability and sustainable products or something like that. She was saying that she was actively pitching clients. She was doing the things that she's always done, but still her work had dried up. And it had dried up to the point that she got a part-time job. And now she was talking about actually giving up freelance writing to work full time. I'm not sure if you can spot the problem, but here is someone who was willing to give up on the goal because she refused to change her niche.
What?
That's like if you have a grocery store and a product doesn't sell, so you decide to shut down the grocery store? No, that's not what you do. You find new products. Sometimes it's not about what you're doing. It's about the course that you're taking.
That's true.
There are content creators out there who are so focused on the process, and it's not working for them, at least not right now. It's like they swear allegiance to one means to get to the end. Never mind that all of their clients have canceled, no new work is coming in, bills are stacking up, they can't pay them, but they're determined to make it work somehow, some way. Let me fill you in. The way you make it work is you adapt to the environment that you're in. That's what businesses do. And businesses that don't do that, they fail. It's that simple. You commit to a goal, not to a particular process. And that brings us to the bulk of what we're going to talk about today, which is those content creators who are overcoming their struggles and finding new means to make money. Because there are a lot of people out there who are already making moves so that they can keep going towards the goal. It's time for class. Okay, sorry. But seriously, literally, this is the time of classes. After the coronavirus hit, the world exploded with teachers. Online courses are booming. People are out there hungry for information. In April, Elise Asanias told Forbes that the online course industry grew almost 200% within a week's time. And guess how many courses were taken? Over 900,000. Now, Asanias is the digital content marketer for Thinkific, which is a Canadian-based platform where users can build and sell their courses, okay? And it's not just that one platform, and it's not just one country either. The founder of Teachable, which is another course creation company, told BBC that honestly he was surprised by the growth. He said, "I imagined there would be some form of consumer slowdown, but what we saw was the opposite." In May alone, he said teachers were set to earn over $43 million. Now that was May, and that's up from $24 million that they earned in February. Lucy Goff, she's an interior stylist. She said launching a course literally changed her life. She told BBC that it was something that she had been wanting to do for over a year, but it wasn't until lockdown that she actually decided to do it. So the way that she got to that decision was she had 4 photo shoots canceled within a week. So instead of doing nothing, she was like, okay, I'm going to create an online interior styling course. So she launched it in mid-May, and within 2 weeks, she said she had 112 students, and some were from places like Canada and Poland. She expects that her course is going to earn her about $26,000 this year. I'll give you another example. Layla Garani, she has an online course that she said changed her whole life. And it looks like her life is set to get even better from courses, because she's been teaching Excel courses on Udemy since 2016. The results were so good, she said she could afford to stop consulting, which is what she was doing for a living at the time. Her husband also quit his full-time job to come work with her, and she was already pulling down a 6-figure salary from her courses. But after lockdown, she said she got 3 times as many students as she usually does. And 10,400 people booked her courses just in April. The projection for online courses were already bright before COVID-19. Analysts said that that was an industry that was going to hit about $325 billion by 2025. Let me run that by you again. That is $325 billion. And that was supposed to be by 2025. But the people at these course creating companies, they're saying that that target has been accelerated by the coronavirus. And that is a lot of money to divvy up.
That's true.
Now, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It takes work to get started, but the money seems to come fairly quick once the work is done. I got some insider details from Jenny Marston, aka Jenny in Neverland. That's what you'll find her listed as if you check for her online. She's a blogger, and she's recently developed her course. She said it took her 2 months to develop her course, and she said that that 2-month period was possible only because she was working on it every single day. Now, she chose Teachable as the platform for her course, which is called Blogging Mindset Mastery. With that platform, you get to choose when you want your payout. So she said you can choose daily, weekly, or monthly. And the platform lets you know that for your first payout, there's going to be a 7 to 14 day waiting period. She said she got her payout 10 days after she launched her course, and she has been surprised by how successful it has been. Courses are such a hot market right now that even New York Times best-selling author Mimi Fox touted courses as a smart money move right now. She wrote a Forbes article, and that article was about women who are pulling down 6 figures from their courses.
Oh, yeah.
So, hey, I'm not saying everyone's a teacher. I'm not saying courses are for everybody, but I'm just letting you know. If you want to know what moves content creators are making right now, that's one of them. Well, there's good news and bad news. Let's see what you get first. Looks like it's the good news. And that good news is that YouTube views are booming since the pandemic hit. And so is the number of people subscribing to YouTube channels. So if you're thinking about launching a channel, when it comes to getting views and getting subscribers, now could be a good time. If you have a channel, you've probably already seen this trend, because the upward moves in views and subscribers, it's not just one or two categories. It's across the spectrum. Various topics, various size channels. Lots of people are seeing their channels get play right now. Take the Green brothers, Hank and John. They have multiple channels. They have Vlog Brothers, which is like a nerd infotainment deal. They have a number of educational channels. And according to Hank's Twitter post, Crash Course Kids and SciShow Kids were up 300% in March. And across all their channels, views were up 5%. Even channels with obscure topics like Drex Factor Poi, which is about poi spinning. Drexler reported that views and subscriptions to his channel jumped over 40% in a week. And then there's Thomas Smith. He's seen the same positive results on his YouTube do-it-yourself home automation channel. In December, he had around 1,300 subscribers. Now he has over 2,400. He said when the coronavirus hit, his views surged 30%. He described his YouTube channel as doing great on paper. And that brings me to the bad news about growth on YouTube. There's a catch, though, Smith wrote in a Medium post, and it's a big one. Despite this big boost in traffic, my revenue is down, way down, he said. He explained that in March, when his views went up, his revenue dropped 20%. And it's the same story for the Green brothers, the same story for Drexler, and for YouTubers across the web. Views went up, more subscribers, less money.
What the fuck?
Across the media world, there has been a pullback in ad revenue, and it's affected almost every form of media. Print, online publications, radio, you name it, they felt the hit. The Interactive Advertising Bureau, also known as the IAB, said 1 in 4 media buyers and brands paused all of their advertising for the first half of 2020. So that's 25% of advertisers who just pulled their money out of the market for the first 6 months. And of those left, according to the IAB, 46% cut their spending. So a lot of people, including YouTubers, are assuming that the reason YouTube is paying out less is because there's less ad money to be had. But me and my co-host, we haven't seen anywhere that YouTube has said that. So you have people like Smith, with his subscriber count going up almost 100% month over month. He said he's prepared to live with limited monetization now in hopes of having a big audience that'll pay off when the advertising money comes back. And surely there are other YouTubers like him, but then there are a lot of other YouTubers who aren't waiting. Some probably can't afford to wait it out playing games with YouTube. So these YouTubers are finding other ways to make money. And for a growing number of them, the way they're doing it is by charging fans for subscriptions. The trend of charging for subscriptions is so popular that it caught the attention of Bloomberg. A Bloomberg article says, not long ago, trying to charge viewers to watch your videos on YouTube would have been a career ender. But there's a growing breed who are now making the bulk of their income from subscription fees. By April, 80,000 channels has started earning money from sources other than advertising. That's a 20% jump from the previous month. And between January and May, the number of YouTubers who stopped relying on ad revenue jumped 40%. And do you know where Bloomberg got that number from? That 40% of YouTubers stopped relying on ad revenue? They got it from YouTube. That means this company has just been sitting back watching YouTubers scramble to cover their losses. And do you know what the chief product officer, Neil Mohan, said about the situation? Quote, "It's important for our creators to have a diversified portfolio."
Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit.
So you remember when I said earlier that there was this idea that YouTubers were getting less revenue because there was less ad money? And you remember how I pointed out that it wasn't coming from YouTube? Well, you know why? Because YouTube can't say that. For the first time this year, YouTube's financials are broken down for the public to see. And YouTube's ad revenue has been growing throughout the pandemic. Do you hear me?
What did you say?
Let me repeat that for you. YouTube's ad revenue has been growing, although it is paying YouTubers less. In the first fiscal quarter, YouTube earned over $4 billion from ad revenue. That's up 33% compared to the same quarter in 2019. And in the second quarter, which just ended this summer, YouTube earned $3.81 billion, which might seem like a slight decline, but it's not. It's actually 6% higher than the earnings YouTube had from ad revenue in the summer of 2019. YouTube is not losing money from ad revenue. So for all of the YouTubers and anyone else out there who has assumed that YouTube has cut back on payments because it's losing ad revenue,
Contestants, why has YouTube cut ad revenue after the pandemic?
Because YouTube lost ad revenue due to the coronavirus.
You have been a very good opponent, but in every game there are winners and there are losers.
Now you remember earlier I was telling you how since the coronavirus, a lot of content creators have taken a major hit. Just to give you an idea, one stat from PR Week reported that half of UK freelancers lost at least 60% of their income. And I'll say that again. That's not up to 60%. That's half of all freelancers in the UK lost at least 60% after lockdown. Now, for some people, not just in the UK, but all over, the losses were 100%. As a matter of fact, they were more than 100% for some people. And I say that because 100% refers to work in the pipeline. But there were people who, in addition to having all of their current and future work canceled, they didn't get checks they were waiting for work that they had already done. Of course, as content creators, we couldn't expect to be unscathed. Industries across the board have been affected by the pandemic. I lost upcoming work after COVID-19. Fortunately, it was not to a completely devastating degree, but the carnage for some people was worse than it had to be. And for a lot of them, it was because they all made the same mistake. And it's a mistake people continue to make over and over and over. Now, I've warned against it, but a lot of gurus and talking heads, and yes, some people who create courses, continue to push content creators to make a very risky decision. But look, it's time for me to get out of here. So I don't have time to get into that discussion right now. But if you want to know why so many content creators got burnt so fast, go to KnowGoodWords.com. KnowGoodWords. KnowGoodWords.com. On the right-hand side of the page, you'll see a search box that says, I'm hunting for. Just type burned into that search box, and you'll see a post that says, why the coronavirus burned freelancers so bad. And you'll find out the mistake that people continue making over and over and over. It catches so many people so many times, and still they continue to do it. The last thing I want to tell you, since we are talking about money, struggles, and places to find new money, is that if you need some fast cash in your life, you can get $1,000 from the U.S. government in about 3 days. It's very easy. The application is not complicated. And this is a legit federal grant. It's not a loan, although you can get a loan through this process, or at least you can apply for a loan through this process. But the grant's designed to help small businesses that are struggling. So yes, that includes freelancers, self-employed people, YouTubers, vloggers, whatever. As long as you're set up as a legitimate business. You can find details about that also on KnowGoodWords.com. Just go to the search box, type in EIDL, EIDL. That's the name of the program, the EIDL program. And you'll get the details and a walkthrough what it's like to go through the application process. There's also a link that'll take you directly to the application page, so you don't have to be out there searching for that. Alrighty, well, until next time, y'all stay safe, stay healthy, and stay on the grind. Peace.